So back in the saddle. It's been a couple days, a couple weeks, I think, since we got back here doing this.
Yep, and we
I
don't
got
have to
myself
discuss that. But
preoccupied. I've had very little me time recently.
Oh,
So I was sitting there thinking, you know what we should talk about today? Me time. Is me time selfish? Is me time needed in a relationship, or is me time a selfish thing in a relationship? I want to talk about me time.
I think this could go both ways.
All right, so today's episode will be
Me time.
Well, let's get into it.
We are just two guys navigating this chapter called Midlife. What started as two friends swapping stories that turned into a quest to answer life's biggest questions about this mid-crisis mystery. Join us as we talk it out, laugh through the chaos, and get real about the struggles. This is our podcast. This is our question. Is it menopause or manopause?
Okay, so
What does me?
well, yeah,
what is me time? What is your me time?
Do you watch? You probably don't. You don't watch a lot of TV. The Landman series, the new one with Billy Bob Thornton.
We haven't started yet.
So there's this fantastic thing. He's got this. Let's call it uppity ex-wife who's large and in charge.
Yep.
Very, very. So there's a bunch of guys in an oil field. You know, they're all out there. This particular day, one of them had a gun put to his head by the cartel. Another one's buddy blew up in a fucking oil fire and all this other stuff. Nope, wrong button.
I'm not doing that now.
That was the swearing bleep. So anyway, they all get home from a hard day at work, and she's prepared, I don't know, something called papaya, this wooden bowl in the middle of the table, and they all have spoons and they all share it. And she's got this fancy dress on. They're walking through the door. Everybody needs a shower. Everybody needs like a cry or a beer or whatever, but they're all drinking, you know, a 1984 Merlot and papaya off a plate. They're looking for their cans of ravioli to eat out of the can, right? And they're all sitting there, and they're staring at each other awkwardly, like, we feel obligated to eat this dinner. We feel obligated to sit down, be polite, but what we really want is a Miller Lite, a can of raviolis, probably to, you know, pinch a loaf off in the fucking bathroom, change our jeans. Like, give a guy a minute. But we got to be polite, because if we're not,
They're eating papaya.
So halfway through the dinner, she could sense the awkwardness. She stands up, starts crying, runs out of the room. He chases her into the next room, and he's like, okay, you didn't create that dinner for us. You created it for you. Like, we're happy with Miller Lite and ravioli, but look at you in the outfit you're wearing, and look at the work that you put into it, and your expectation of us to appreciate this. When give a guy a minute.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I have that thing at home. I'm working a kind of a job right now where I'm a 9 to 5, which is rare for me. But when I get home, I'm like, oh, I've got like black on my face. Like, I need a shower. And I walk in and, oh, you worked hard today. Here's dinner on the table. And I'm like, I'm going to sit down and eat this right now. But what I could use is 10 minutes in the bathroom just to
Decompress.
Scroll my socials. Decompress.
Yeah,
and I feel like a dickhead asking for 10 or 15 minutes of decompression.
You know what though? I've had that conversation too, and it's you have that conversation, and it's fine.
Yeah, if you ask
just have
for it.
to have it.
Yeah, if you ask
If you don't
for
have it, should, you know, I could see them being.
Oh, good, Jeff. I told you, shut your phone off. Yeah, you require that time. That's all there is to it.
There's nothing wrong with it. And whether it's a male or a female, they can do the same, but you just have to have that conversation, because we briefly had that too. And I said, that's just, and maybe it's more guys, but it's a thing. You just want to decompress, however that is. So now that's a short me time.
Yeah. So here's one for you.
Time?
Guess what's coming up this weekend? It's Super Bowl Sunday. What?
Nobody cares.
Yes, a lot of people care.
No, they don't.
Because you don't care. You think
no,
other
it's the
people don't
halftime
care.
show that's ruined the whole Super Bowl.
It has ruined it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kendrick Lamar for like the second or third
Who
time.
is that?
I couldn't name
never
one of
even
his
heard a
songs.
song.
But you know what? Some of our listeners are going to. They're going to say, oh yeah, Kendrick Lamar or whatever.
Nobody knows who it is.
I don't even, the buddy of mine is throwing all of his money on the over-under for the national anthem. You know what that is?
Oh, if they screw it up or not?
No. So every year they have over-under. Oh, this is the whole off-topic thing you give me shit on. But the national anthem in perfect world should take 1 minute and 48 seconds to sing.
Oh, it's a timeline.
And if Adele sings it, this has actually happened. I think it was Adele. So what happened was people bet over-under. Is it going to take under 1 minute 48 or over? Are they a quick singer or a long singer? And you can bet, like, we're talking millions of dollars bet on this. So a couple of years ago, correct me if I'm wrong, right into the show, but it was Adele. And so she's saying the final line was, "And the home of the brave." And everybody's clapping, and she goes, of the Brave and sings Of the Brave twice. The song took
Went
2
over.
minutes and 1 second, but everybody's like arguing on the gambling thing going, no, she was done Home of the Brave after 1:48.
No.
You know what I mean?
She wasn't done singing.
Well, then she could have sang the alphabet afterwards. What's the actual, like, but she wasn't done singing. It's like, so it's a huge controversy.
Maybe there's rules.
But it's a big betting thing. What color is the Kool-Aid that gets dumped on you? I'm way off topic.
Yes, you are.
We considered changing the name of the show to Keith Gets Off Topic. But where were we? That
Talk about me time.
Yes, Super Bowl Sunday.
Super
Nobody
Bowl
cares,
Sunday,
and they all
nobody
care.
cares.
A lot of people care.
No, they
but here's the point. When I got together with my wife, I said, we can have Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas. We'll split it up amongst families, blah, blah, blah. My one day a year. Is
Yep,
my Christmas.
that's your thing.
That's my Super Bowls. I will be gone on Super Bowl Sunday. From 8 in the morning till 8 the next morning, I'm a write-off. I'm playing poker with the guys. I'm watching football. We're talking shop.
Yep.
That is my day. I get one day of 365. And I got to tell you, the first year I did it, put it to the test. I was at a buddy's house. I'm like, I'm downstairs. I'm organizing the poker. I'm in a zone because it's Keith Day. I'm back. And I'm sitting there and I'm dealing with the first game. And we're in the basement of my buddy's house. And I hear the door open at the top of the steps. And I look up and there's my wife with the guy's wife. And they're coming down with appetizers. And they got little belly shirts on looking good. And I'm like, well, I was out of that tournament 10 minutes later. It's the quickest I've ever been out of a turn. Couldn't focus. All the guys. First of all, I got 30 guys in the room all staring down my wife because got fish and a bear. Like, I mean, it's the only girl there. You know, that hot versus office hot.
Oh, she was the only one there.
Well, her and my buddy's wife who was hosting the thing. Right?
Oh yeah.
But all this, my day's done now, and you come over. How you doing, sweetie? And you're massaging the shoulders and stuff. And I'm like, that became a thing for me. I'm like, I asked for one day, and I get that you were. But I was the dickhead because I was upset that she was there. I was the dickhead for saying,
no, you weren't.
Oh, you didn't make me feel welcome. And I'm like, I really need to explain to you how much that day meant to me.
Yeah. Maybe that's the discussion that wasn't there.
And that didn't happen. So
but that's
that gets into unexpected expectations, which is what you just talked about when you said, hey, all you got to do is come home from dinner and say, could you have dinner ready for 6 instead of 5:30?
Yeah.
That's me getting mad at an unexpected expectation.
Well, so that led me to a question of, speaking about if the Super Bowl is your time, is it me time or is it me time away from my wife?
Well, that's a good question. No, it's me time.
Because that's not me time. That's me time with my buddies.
Oh, you mean just in the morning? I want to scroll socials for.
Well, I'm just curious if if there is a difference or not. Like, because
for me personally, she's pretty decent at. You want some time to scroll, do your thing on your phone. Good. My phone's like my laptop.
That's not me time though.
What's me time then?
I don't. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. Maybe it is to a lot of people. I think me time is yourself, like in a vehicle, singing a friggin'. I forget. I blew that one.
Halo, Beyonce's Halo at a stoplight.
Sure.
Yeah, I saw you that
I'm
one
doing
day.
it.
Don't think I did.
I hate Beyonce. Although kudos for winning Country Album of the Year.
Right. Yes.
But that's me time. But it's also there's no timelines. There's no like, I'm going to be somewhere, that moment. But maybe that is because sometimes me time can only be a minute.
You want to go to the shed and tinker with something. That's me time.
Maybe. But without any like, I guess it's
my
different for
definition
everybody.
of me time is time that I get to focus on just me. I'm not thinking about what my kid's doing, what my wife's doing, what my parents are doing. I'm just thinking about me. I selfishly do whatever I want to. Yeah, I love a good half-hour car ride with my phone off, but I would never think to do that.
Ace of Base, the sign. That's what I was going to say. Sorry. I just thought of that.
Yeah, that opened up my eyes. I saw the sign.
Okay.
So for me, a planned day like Super Bowl, that's 100% me time. That's me in my zone doing my thing. The difference would be, here's a good example. I went to a gas station the other night. I'm sitting outside. I'm like, okay, I'm going to run in for a pack of gum. And I got my teenage boy with me. Hey, can I come too? I'm like, well, yeah, but I'm in for, this is where you leave your engine running and you're in for 30 seconds out, but can I come too? And my wife is the same way. I'm just going to run in and get a loaf of bread. Can I come too? Yes. Yeah. Get your purse and your coat on. I'll shut the vehicle off. We'll walk in together holding hands, get our bread and walk back.
Mm-hmm.
Something that should take 30 seconds is now turned into 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But for both of them are needy people in that sense. They don't like to be left alone. They like to be involved and blah, blah, blah. And so there is no me time. It'd be, I'm going to take 30 seconds to run and grab a loaf of bread. That doesn't happen in my life.
That's interesting me time too.
Yeah. I mean, selfishly, that I would love the opportunity to be like, I'm just going to run into town for 30 seconds and grab something. That doesn't happen in my life.
So we could define me time as however you define it, I guess. Some people are me time is away from their wife. Sometimes me time is away from their kids. Sometimes I guess it's away from their business or their house or, it's funny. I've had this thing over the last year or so where I was asked that, and it's like, how do you deal with certain things and how do you do? And I said, you know what? I take a small moments as much as I can. And even if it's 30 seconds or something, or even if it's just sitting on the couch, like the TV's off and you're just staring at the wall, something like that as a bit of a me time. If you don't get like the whole day.
You defined it as, it doesn't count if you're with your buddies, but you and I go out on my boat a lot.
I was just going to mention that. Yeah.
That's perfect me time. I'm with you, but that's still me time. Because on that day, my phone is off. I'm not getting calls from tenants. I'm not getting calls from work or family. You basically shut it off. We check in here and there. So is it still me time if we're checking in? Or we feel obligated to check in?
Yeah, because I think you're away. I think it's just common courtesy.
That's common courtesy. I agree.
Regardless.
But that's still, you know what, we're out there and I remember last time we were talking about Egyptian pyramids and conspiracy theories and blah, blah, blah. Still me time. I just got to do my me time with my buddy Jeff Bright.
It's me time of something that is for you because, and not to throw them under the bus, but, talking to your wife, usually that doesn't happen. You're not talking pyramids and Graham Hancock and anything conspiracy theory. Like you're not usually talking that sort of a thing where, with the dudes, that's your me time. It really is. Like for me, it is. It's a bit of kind of self.
I find I have to explain myself. Again, I have full support on the podcast, but there's times where I'm like, I've got very busy weeks right now. I'm gonna squeeze in 3 hours to go do. Well, why? If you got 3 hours off, why aren't you spending those with me? Now those words haven't come out, but that's the impression I get because you see the look on their face when it's like, I'm gonna go do a couple podcasts today. It's like, that's me time.
Yeah. Okay, so how important is me time?
I need it. I require it. I have to have it.
I think everyone does.
I saw this a reboot of Superman, and he got drowned in the ocean or some damn thing, and
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Yes, the 2004 version. But
I don't watch any of them.
Too soon. Yeah. The dead people that he saw in
Sixth
Sense.
Spoiled to me. Yeah. What?
Yeah. No, Bruce Willis was dead the whole time. Anyway, this Superman, and I use this analogy all the time in my life. He's kryptonite, and he's basically on death's door, and he's got to get his strength back up so he can go save the world. But before he saves the world, he's got to find it himself. It's like when you're on an airplane and they say, hey, if you're traveling with children, if the oxygen mask falls, put yours on first. You're no good to your kid if you're dead, right?
Yeah.
So get your own strength up first. So I often look and say, okay, cool. I need me time. That's my. So Superman comes up out of the ocean. He's sitting there in front of the sun on the.
I can see where this is going.
The stratosphere, and he's like, woo, and he's like full. He's like, okay, go save the world. And I'm like, I need some me time so that I can give you time again.
I can see how this could be miscued from a female's perspective.
Probably. Yeah, but it's true.
I need to pump myself up energy-wise to deal with my wife.
I don't mean it that way, but it could be interpreted that way. Jesus, yeah. But it's not just my wife; it's a kid.
Yeah, it's kid. Anybody,
right? My parents,
honestly, even friends.
God
sometimes you got to.
We had plans Saturday night. And I'm the biggest douche in the world, but I never showed you. But I got caught up, and I'm like, hey, I guess I'm putting this aside because one thing led to another. Hey, I built this, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
See the stone?
It's beautiful.
It's actually good work.
It's great work.
Like a tile saw. It was white eyebrows for a day. I'm pretty proud of myself. Anyway, yeah.
Nobody cares.
Thanks for watching me show Jeff my phone.
I'll put a picture of that up to show you whatever it was talking about.
Yeah, but we get sidetracked where same thing. Friends, family. We're pulled in multiple directions all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe a guy just wants to rub one out every once in a while. I'm talking like the whiteboard.
Chalkboard.
I was actually referring to masturbation.
Oh, no,
Self-pleasure. Not that I do that, but this guy.
That's a whole other thing.
This guy,
So I have people do that for me. That is a. Well, you know what? That's another.
That's me time.
But you know what? That's another. That's me time. Yeah. Because you know what? I've always joked about this conversation. I always said, when couples are grumpy with each other, when was the last time they did it?
Yeah, that's a thing.
It's a thing. It's a friggin' thing. Yeah, but that's us time. But
that leads me to a shower in the morning. If it were up to my wife, we'd shower together every day. It's just, why waste water? We're in here together. I'm like, I'm not sharing that cold spot. And she's the best person to shower with if you're doing that because she'll share the water and doesn't require much. But still, I'm like, can a guy just wash his balls in peace?
Oh, man.
That's me time?
Yeah. It is. It's no different going to the
me
washroom.
Time to shower in the morning?
No,
don't even get me started. We have shit with the door open. I know your house. God
we have an interesting thing at our place, but it's not. It's the funny thing is it's so often where when we had a kid, it was funny because as soon as you went to the washroom, the baby would crawl. But you see his fingers under the door or something, and then you see the dog sniffing under the door, and then of course the next thing the door is open, and then the whole family is in the bathroom every single time. And I can tell you right now, man, it's still a thing. It's still a thing. Yeah. Not so much with a kid. We don't have a dog, but wife.
I laid down the rules. When I go to the bathroom, that door is locked.
You're a very unique individual.
It's locked. Well, I remember I was the only boy with a couple of sisters and a mom. So growing up, I had very little bathroom privacy. And I can remember a couple of walk-ins where it's like, oh, for shame. And I'm like,
Self-pleasure?
So no, it wasn't at the time. I was little enough that it was, self-pleasure was a poop at the time, but they were pleasurable poops, if I recall.
To this day, you get past that now. That is the good thing. Like, it's clean. It's clean. It's a win.
But yeah, so I locked the bathroom door. I'm like, don't talk to me from the outside of the bathroom door either. If I'm in a zone,
oh my God,
I am.
That's
focused.
all we do. We will leave the living room. So I have to go to the washroom, and someone will go to the washroom, and the other person will follow
to talk to you through the door.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, not through the door.
Oh, it doesn't make it. Yeah, that's not my thing. So, I mean, I actually, and again, I'm talking wife, parents, friends, even when I'm here, I know. Yeah. I'll be making a drink in your kitchen, look back, and I'm like, I just saw his bum. He's peeing with his pants down.
Yeah.
They make zippers, by the way, for that.
I know. Sometimes it's easier, though. It's quick. It's quick and easy. Sometimes you got to do it. It's all different ways. It's tricky.
So, is me time the key to happiness? For me, it is.
I think it's the key to sanity.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah. Collect your thoughts and do
I
your
think
thing.
you have to.
But how much when does it become selfish?
Depression. That's too much, is it not?
Walk me through that.
Is that not too much then? Oh, sorry, that's not too much. Sorry, I thought you were going to say, where does it go if you have too much of it?
No. What I mean is how much me time before I'm selfish? Like, okay, you've had 3 hours tonight on your phone. Could you come?
For sure. I mean, I think it's, especially if you're with someone, you don't really have, like, you're still together. You don't have, you know what I mean? Like, your me time is your own little event. It's not a daily activity. Oh, it could be, though. It could be like meditation or something in the morning.
Half an hour at the end of work just to do whatever.
But if it's like, no, I'm going to spend the next 4 hours out on the boat. No, I'm going to spend the next 6 hours playing cards. No, I'm going to spend this afternoon with my buddy doing whatever. Or I'm just going to drive around town for 4. Okay, obviously, there's issues.
Yeah, enough. Right? Sometimes there's too much, for sure. A lot of guys just go out to the garage after work and be like, I'm having a beer with the boys, smoking cigarettes, tinkering with my engine. Mm-hmm. How much is too much of that? If they're not participating in household chores or taking the kids'
You know what? I
games
know the answer to that.
Yeah.
You will be told. Hey? Yes. You will be told. I guarantee you, if you spend all of the time, and it happens all the time, because we have, growing up with a group of friends, a lot of guys were that way. They just lived in the garage. TV, couch, the fridge, the whole nine. Like, they lived in the garage, and you would drink and do whatever. And the wife would say something.
Yeah.
It's time for you guys to go home.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, you'll know. You'll know. Or you'll say, we need to talk.
Right. And then you got to tone it back and blah,
Check
blah,
out
blah.
our
So
other
you got to find a
podcasts
happy
about
balance, I get. Right?
Too much is too much. I think you obviously know too much. I think there's a difference so that's me time away from your spouse or just me time. I think me time just specifically on you is a big important thing. Me time, why can't you have me time with your wife?
Yeah.
You know,
because there's a lot of that already. But
yeah,
you know what? I tend to There are times, as we got a teenager on a gap year who's constantly home and roaming the halls and staying up all hours of the night, blah blah blah. So if there's ever a day where it's like, hey, we're all gone from the house today, she's like, oh my god, me time. Like I'm gonna watch trash TV, Kardashian stuff, blah blah blah. I get me time, and then come home and it's like, I feel so bad I didn't get anything accomplished today. She feels guilty for me time, and I'm like, embrace it, do it.
Yeah,
if I come home and the
that.
laundry's put away, I'm going to be mad because you didn't take me time.
Yeah.
You took it to serve others. Focus on that and see if it helps you. Because if it helps you, then maybe you'll have empathy for me wanting the same thing.
Yeah, and it's a thing. We have that conversation too. And I always say, like, someone will say, like, oh man, I feel bad I didn't do this today or I didn't do that today. It's okay to have a day. Take a day.
Yeah.
Take a knee. Do whatever you got to do. Just do you. Take it. Take it. Just take it because they don't last very long.
Yeah.
A lot of times you don't get it, especially if everything's hectic and crazy.
Raises a really good point when you say, why can't you have me time with your wife? I can have me time with Jeff Bright. Why not with my wife? Because I have me time with my wife all the time. That's daytime.
That's not me time with your wife. The way I see it. So maybe I'm wrong, but me time with your wife would be something that you want to do with your wife. No, something that you want to do.
Sometimes we'll lay there in bed and not
home.
watch TV at all. We'll just be like, I'm going to watch TikToks, and she'll put her head on my shoulder and watch TikToks with me for half an hour. I'm like, oh, that was fun. We didn't say a word to each other.
But is that your me time though? Like, no. Well, so what I'm saying is inviting your spouse into your me time. Like if your me time would be something out of the, not boating or anything like that, but something like
I'm gonna tinker in the shop and make a new light,
or playing cards or something like that. That's your time. But she doesn't like doing that. But you would invite her over to say, "Come watch your big stubby man win."
For sure. Yeah.
Maybe
that would count. Yeah.
Maybe not so much as an actual thing, but actual me time, personal me time. Maybe it's just called personal me time. That's what it should be. Because there's versions of me time. So personal me time is whatever you make of it. You just got to get it. You just got to have it.
Yeah.
You just got to do it, right? How do you get it?
I don't know. You have to ask for it. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. I think you literally have to ask for it, because if you expect it and they don't meet your expectations or your unspoken expectations that we talked about earlier, then you're going to be upset. And it's just like, I think you just got to look and say, I need a minute. I need, when I'm going to come home from work today, it's been a rough one. Leave me alone for half an hour.
You can get away with that?
Well, yeah. You can't?
Obviously, I can. I'm just questioning.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. She's very good that way. She's the first to pour me a bath and just lock the bathroom door and say, anything you need? Yeah, half an hour.
You just told the world that she pours your bath.
Yeah. I like it. Bubbles.
It's just funny.
It's a bubble bath.
Big manly man.
It's a big bathtub.
Don't worry, dear. I have a bath drawn for
Fetch
you.
me my coat and my slippers. That's not the case, but yeah.
No, that's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing.
Yeah.
Even I know for me over the last year, it was funny because I would, my wife would go out for the day in the first thing in the morning, and then I'd drop my kid off at school, and I would come home, and then I would sit down and maybe have a coffee or something in the first thing in the morning, and I would just sit there, nothing, no phone, no TV, just a drink or a coffee.
I've walked into your house. Those are called naps,
and that's my moment. That's my moment, right?
I think the one thing that you need to do is prioritize self-care. So me, the first little while, even with kids and everything, I felt you picked me up today.
Yeah.
My first words are, I'm overwhelmed. I'm burning the candle at both ends. I'm not taking weekends off. I'm a little overwhelmed. And you're like, yeah, you can fix that, Keith. Like you don't feel sorry for me because fix that. Get somebody to do things, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and I need to prioritize and say, I'm going to stop and do Keith for a bit. I think you have to. For a long time, I didn't. And then it builds up inside of me. And then I'm finally explode. And you're like, piss on everybody. I'm taking a week to myself going to Vegas. And then it makes it worse. So now it's like, no, I need a half an hour. Then I'm not bad at asking for it.
And speaking of that, talking about asking for it, it's one of those things that we have found that you can put it in your calendar. And you can set it today or next Thursday.
What's a calendar?
I know you don't have that. But, how would you say it then in your case? No, not your case.
No, we're not talking about me. In general.
In general, people, you could put it in your calendar and say on Thursday, I'm Wednesday
night is Dart League.
Yeah, I'm blocking it off for whatever reason. And, sometimes your spouse may resent that, but then I'm hoping that your spouse would enjoy the same thing. Say, hey, you know what? That's cool. I'm going out on Wednesday morning to do
you know what we're overlooking, because neither one of us do this, is in our parents' day and age, me time was, I mean, my father was a Lions Club, a Kinsman, an Optimist, board of directors and blah, 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 out all the time. They used to be all kinds of service clubs and stuff where it was just natural, even back to the Flintstone days of the water buffaloes.
Yeah.
Wilma, I'll be back at 8 or whatever, and bowling leagues and all that stuff. They don't have that anymore. COVID kind of took a lot of that away, and social gatherings. I mean, they exist, but more. How many of your friends are involved in service clubs? And
I only know 2 people and they're losers. No, just kidding.
Hopefully not watching this.
I hope they are, and
Steve
they know.
and Brian.
They know who they are. They know who they are. They're loogies, and they don't have any friends.
Huh.
So, but this, I appreciate what they do. But you know what I found? We've spoke to a lot of people about this, and I've talked to a bunch of guys on this same sort of topic. People just don't like people much anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm
telling you, COVID changed a lot of that. We became independent.
Really
we became more, packed in with our own family and our inner circles, and and hell with the community and everything else around it.
You know what? I found too is I enjoy, especially in your case because it's chaotic. But if I was to say I'm going to go spend an evening with you, I know it's going to be interestingly fun. And I would accept that. But now I feel like people are like, no, I'm not doing that. That's dumb. You won't even go that just to get out, just to do it. They just say, no, that's not my thing. Like it really has, everyone does, they likes their thing and that's it. I feel like a lot of people don't like to entertain the idea of something else from somebody else. Not saying everybody, but
no, that's a very valid
good point.
Oh, there's exceptions to every case for sure. I don't tinker in the garage with cars. I don't drink dart leagues.
But you would still, in my garage, you would still go out and have a drink and we would shoot the shit as we're having a drink and tinker. We'd still do that. Some people just, no.
Yeah.
Nope.
Do you know, is there a difference between, women need me time, kids need me time. We all need it. But for men, can we categorize, I need man time?
Oddly enough, when you were talking about this earlier, that's exactly what I got thinking about is what is me time? Is me time alone? Is me time with the buddies? I think it's all categorized. I think you could categorize.
I think man time is important to me. I like my cigar nights every once in a while with you. I like going on the boat with the guys. I like to sit back and talk smack and have a bourbon and just be like, you know what? It's man time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was going to tell you this earlier that I just scored massive amounts of cigars, a huge, massive score. I've saved them all, so we're going to go through all of them. But
you got some Romeo Juliets?
No, I went a different route. I went completely different route. I went store picks, staff picks. I went popular picks. I went anything other than what I would normally get.
Well, I got the bourbon and the bourbon.
I didn't get that. So, it's actually worked out pretty good.
10 bottles of that. You got some cigars.
What I was going to say is when I was in there, that was my man time. Yeah. Like I had a great conversation with the staff, extremely knowledgeable. And that was just like, that was man time.
Oh,
that was me, man time.
You know what? We're not going to be able to do it this episode, but this is our next episode. I'm telling you right now. We're having a whole episode on men's spas, men's barbershops, bourbons, and cigars.
Oh, that's a great idea.
That's a whole episode.
Would that work? How to do it? How would you do it?
Yeah, we'll get people to call in, give us their
Let's
opinion.
Fantasize about it.
That's totally what we're gonna do. I think we talked the me time to death at this point. Right?
What is your me time? How do you do your me time? Should you do your me time?
Yeah, I think prioritize self-care. Ask for your needs. Communicate your needs. We probably could have talked about funny ways to sneak away and get your own man time in, but that's the infamous.
I'm going to get the bread.
Well, yeah,
I'm going to get the milk.
I'm going to get a loaf of bread. Can I come too? Fuck. No, but how many men are famous for half an hour on the toilet? Yeah, right. And that's my cue.
Everyone is, male or female, doesn't matter who
sweetie,
it is.
I'll be in the
if
bathroom.
you take your phone in there,
a lot of poop in there. We're not
there's
coming
30
out.
minutes going down.
TikTok was banned. It's like, 10-second poops now. Jump right. That was a good episode.
Thanks, buddy.
Get yourself some me time.
Cheers.
Bye.